Hey, it's Rob and welcome to Axel's Garage. All right, I got caught up on some stuff. I still got a lot of work to do on the Big Dummies K5 Blazer, but it was a nice day and I didn't really feel like getting involved in a big project, so I'm actually gonna do something with the Chevelle today, and I haven't even touched this thing in a long time. It's been in and out of an underground garage where I was keeping it so that I could keep it out of the weather, because my two garages are filled up with Jeep bodies and hardtops and all kinds of stuff. I haven't had a garage for this thing, so we've been keeping it in an underground parking garage, and I kind of got evicted. Well, I wasn't paying rent or anything, I just had it parked there, and they asked me to remove it. So it's been home. I got it parked in front of my garage under a tent to keep some of the weather off of it. But when I brought it home, I was leaking antifreeze. Now, this is it's got a 454 in it, and it always ran a little hot, especially when I got stuck in traffic. And I do have a big radiator in it. I have a big mechanical cooling fan with a heavy-duty clutch on it, and we did some testing to see whether it was an airflow issue or a water flow issue, and it turns out it was a water flow issue. The reason why it was starting to run hot when I got stuck in traffic or when it just sat idling, and it didn't really move a lot of water at idle. So a real short-term fix, which has been maybe 5 or 6 years now, has been we had pulled the thermostat out and we're running with no thermostat, which was fine in the summertime, but when you had a cool night, even in the summer or in the spring and fall, it would never really get up to a good operating temperature, and it would keep the oil thick, and that would cause me to get a little blow-by in one of the cylinders, and it was running at like 140, 150 degrees. So what we wanted to do was put a thermostat back in it and possibly change that water pump to a pump that'll flow a little bit higher. Yes, we played with pulley sizes and all kinds of stuff. We just cannot get this pump to flow good at the idle speeds. So anyway, we moved it out of the parking garage, brought it home, and it was leaking, and it turns out cheap Chinese chrome. Don't call me a racist, it's cheap Chinese chrome. We had a cheap Chinese chrome thermostat housing, you know, water net kind of thing, and it's got a little tiny hole in it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull the thermostat off, we're gonna pull the housing off, clean it all up, put a new thermostat housing on. I got a new water neck, and we are gonna put in what's supposed to be a high flow 180 degree thermostat. We did try a 160, and a 160 was still making us run too cool on a cool night or a cool fall or spring day. So we're gonna go back with the 180. We're gonna go with this higher flow thermostat and see if it makes any difference. If it doesn't, I guess we'll be trying to find a water pump that'll flow a little bit more at idle. But let me get the hood open, get some tools out, and we'll get started. All right, so as you can see here, I got a mess of residual dried up coolant all over everything, but this right here on this side, and I'll show you when we pull it off, it's just got a small little pinhole in it, and when it got up to operating temperature, the coolant was shooting out of here right into the fuel filter and just spraying all over the engine. So we're gonna replace it with some Mr. Gasket stuff. It's cheap Chinese chrome again, but they usually don't rust. I don't know why this one would have rusted out that way, but here's our housing that we're gonna use, and here is the thermostat that we're going to use, and it's got an O-ring seal on it. It comes with bolts, which I don't need because I got some nice stainless hardware in there. All right, well, I'm sure I don't have to drain out any antifreeze or coolant, depending on where you're from. We call it antifreeze here in New York. Everywhere else in the country they seem to call it coolant, but there probably ain't much in here because a lot of it's sprayed out. We'll get that clamp off. Pull this upper hose off. Oh wow, it's really rotten on the inside. Oh, it's rotten right there too. This whole thing is rusting through. I've never had one rust like this. All right, so after getting the bolts loose, oh wow, there is a thermostat in there. Huh. I remember putting a thermostat in there. But you can see the inside of this housing is just rotted. And there's my hole right there. See that hole? But it was starting to go everywhere. This thing was just rotten to crap. This one hasn't been, it's only been in here as long as this engine is in here, which is probably about 8 years maybe. It did have a thermostat in it. I didn't think it had one in it. Let's see what the thermostat is. It's a 160-degree thermostat. All right, well, we're gonna put the 180 in, see what happens, to try to keep the schmutz out. Stuff that rag in there, and I'll scrape some of this shit off. There's just crap everywhere. All right, with a little razor blade, I'll clean off any of the schmutz on the mounting surface. Try not to get any or too much inside. Then pull the rag out and all the schmutz comes out with the rag. That looks pretty good. All right. This Chevelle used to see quite a bit of road miles. And we just haven't had the opportunity to use it a lot lately. We used to take it once a year to Nashville. Before we had, when we only had 2 kids, we'd drive it every year from New York to Nashville and back. And then when the family got bigger, when we had 4, couldn't really fit everybody. So we started trailering it back and forth. And then we put the big, we had a small block in it then. Then we put the big block in it. And then the kids' sports and everything, we just really don't use it like we used to. All right, so got our new thermostat. Gonna drop that in the opening, and we want one of the windows in the thermostat to be in line with the hose. So the hose comes in about right here. This way you get good flow going right into the hose. All right, we got our O-ring that they ship bundled up in a plastic bag, shoved in the neck, which stinks because it knocks the O-ring all out of place. But what I'm going to do is just take a little smear of silicone just to help a little bit. It keeps that O-ring in there. Not putting a lot. Schmear is an accepted term. I know some of the guys in the comments like to comment on my terminology, but Clippy Dicky, Thingamabob, whatchamacallit, and Gudentite are accepted automotive terms where I'm from. All right, so I put a little schmear. Blue silicone holds that O-ring in. All right, didn't put much on it at all. All right, so I got that O-ring held in with the blue silicone, and I'll put this right down on top, and then I got my bolts. My bolts look like they have a little thread sealing compound on them, so I'm just going to give them a quick quick clean with the brush here, just to get any loose thread locking compound out of them. Like this one, you can see it's got some loose schmutz on it. Okay, and I am going to use some ARP thread sealer. You could use some like Indian head gasket resin if you like. I just happened to see this in my box of sealers, so I said, you know what, I'll use this. I think this came in an ARP bolt kit. Probably where these bolts came from too. All right, so I like to tighten them down a little at a time, you know, go back and forth. This way you pull that housing straight down, and I'm sure there's a torque spec, but the term I use is going to be the German one, good and tight. So we're going to go good and tight. Just make sure you don't strip your intake. All right, you can see some of the sealer that we used squeaked out. So we will clean that up so that we don't have a mess. We don't have to worry about it too much because this whole engine bay is in dire need of a good cleaning, especially that it's been sitting for so long, and the antifreeze that got all over everything. All right, so hopefully that O-ring is going to do its job like the other one did. I kind of like the ones with the gasket better, but you don't see them that often anymore. And we could take our upper hose, that back down. All right, so everything buttoned back up. I can put some much needed antifreeze or coolant, depending on where you're from, back in my radiator. Make sure my battery's charged up. I have a tender on it, so it should be good, and I'm ready to go. So I had about a half a gallon of 50-50 mixed coolant, and I put water in it the rest of the way, so now it's really 25% mixed coolant. But it's April, not too concerned with a deep freeze anymore, and because it's so cruddy in there, I'm going to drain this stuff out relatively soon anyway and flush it a few times over the summer with water. All right, so I put a gallon of 25% antifreeze or coolant to 75% water, and then I had to put another 2 gallons of straight water in because that's all I had. I just want to get it so I could start it up now, let it warm up, get that churning through, and then maybe I'll just dump it all out tomorrow and put a 50-50 mix in, because I've been down this road before. It's early April. It could get cold again, and I have popped freeze-out plugs in this car when I was running straight water, so I don't want to have that happen again. I'd like to start driving this thing again on a regular basis. It'd be kind of neat. It's just been sitting for so long. It really gets aggravating. Especially when I've had this thing since I was 21. Bought it when I came out of college, and We did a lot of work to it and we drove the crap off of it. Had this tender on. Hopefully this did its job and the battery is good. And let me get the keys and we'll start it up. All right, no leaks, got up to operating temperature, let it run a little bit. Smells like crap because of the gas that's probably 2 years old in the tank. So I'm gonna run to the gas station. I'll get a 5-gallon jug with fresh gas in it, and maybe I'll put some Marvel Mystery Oil in the gas, dump it in, and once I start driving it, I'll go through that tank of gas pretty quick and start getting some fresh gas in there. But in the meantime, a big cleanup is in order because this thing is a mess. Inside, outside, it's just filthy, especially that engine compartment because of all that antifreeze that was spraying, all coolant that was spraying all over the place. Hope you enjoyed the episode. We finally got some work done on the Chevelle. I can't wait to get it back out and driving around. I really can't. Gonna have to get some back tires on it because the tires are bald. I don't know how the back tires got just completely bald, but I'm gonna have to get some tires and maybe register it. It hasn't been registered in quite a few years. I got the insurance on it, but I just haven't registered it. So get all that straightened out. We'll be driving the Chevelle, doing some more projects on it. We got coil springs, front and rear, and we're gonna just clean it up a little bit, do a little maintenance, get it going so we can start using it this spring and summer and fall, hopefully. And hopefully that top top's kind of old. Hopefully the top will last for at least this season, and then maybe next year we'll get a new top for it. In the meantime, back on the Big Dummies Blazer right here. Got a lot of projects going on. Hope you enjoyed the quick episode of Axel's Garage. It's the first time we've had this Chevelle on this channel since we renamed it Axel's Garage about almost 2 years ago now. So, got some Chevelle videos coming up for all the Chevelle guys. Don't forget, click that like button, subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching.